Welcome back to Wine About Real Estate and happy 2024. Cheers to a new year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap up what happened in 2023, and when we're gonna talk a little bit about what's gonna happen, we think, in the 2024 year.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So for some data that we put together on what we saw, so there's about 11 things that we wanted to discuss. So let's go to the affordability crisis based on rates and costs. In 2023, we saw a lot of buyers not being able to purchase in the market. The biggest reason why is interest rates.
Interest rates went up, and that huge buyer pool that we had fell apart.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of people that couldn't afford homes. They couldn't afford the rate. They couldn't afford the payment. So,
right.
What they could afford wasn't even idealistic for their needs. So it didn't make sense for them to purchase.
Well, and then also, nobody was selling either. So there was a low inventory.
So low.
It was really low. So it was really, that's why they called it a crisis.
Yeah.
However, we'll get to it, but we're not forecasting that for 2024.
No, I'm very excited about this next year.
Okay, so again, just to recap, there was few sellers in 2023, which was really true. People were locked into their low interest rates. They didn't want to sell because when they sold at the low interest rate, then they're not going to sell to go buy and get a higher interest rate. Only the have-tos, and the have-tos are people who are like moving out of state or getting a divorce.
Yeah, it wasn't so much like they couldn't afford to sell their home, and it was that they couldn't buy the next.
And they didn't want to give up that
that golden rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, next is currently on the market, the median home price nationwide. Now, we're not talking about California.
Right.
Nationwide, the current on market price is $513,000.
Which is an increase.
It is, and that's a nice increase.
A very nice increase.
Yeah, that goes to tell us that, the housing market is continuing to grow.
Right.
And this year over year, and this week alone, there was 20% more new contracts. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, considering what we saw in 2023 with not that many buyers, low inventory, and now December is, normally historically is one of the slower months.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of business starting to pick up. Yeah. And
we're
going to see the results of that in January.
We're going to be seeing.
Yeah, so I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more inventory coming to the market. I mean,
why is that, Candace?
Well, now those interest rates are going down again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the last time I checked, it was around 6.2, and I heard that they're getting lower than that. They're actually predicting 5% next month. So, hopefully that is true. And if we see 5%, I definitely think that those sellers who didn't want to sell because they couldn't get that good interest rate will probably now list and go and get that 5% and probably buy down the rate to that golden rate again.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's still those programs in place where, now it's going to be easier to buy down the rate from 5 to a 3%.
Right.
Versus a 7 to a 3 or an 8 to a 3.
Right. That's a lot more.
Yeah.
Bigger difference to make up.
And guess what, though? Here's a positive note for 2023. Equity growth still grew 3 to 5%. So your home still grew between 3 and 5% in equity this year. I think that's really positive, considering it was just a strange year.
Well, it was a really strange year, and a lot of people statistically will say that, the numbers were very similar to 2008. But comparing 2023 to 2008, we still had home prices hold steady. We still had sales happening. Things were still moving in the market, even though it was slower than normal.
But also, to that point, low foreclosures and unemployment was low.
Right.
So, they said the numbers looked the tracking looked the same, but it wasn't the same, and those are the reasons why. And there is no current indicators right now of a crash.
Right. So, I mean, home prices didn't fall. We actually gained, like she said, 4%.
Yeah, 3 to 5%.
I mean, that's that's always a positive thing when you're still gaining equity. I mean, most markets that you have for a financial portfolio, if you're in a stock market, to gain 3 to 4% is actually a really, really great thing for an index fund of any kind. So to think of that as your house, your housing market, to gain 3 or 4% in a year, I mean, that's fantastic.
It really is. And then right now, the median home price is $415,000 nationwide. Because let me go back though. It says current on market was the 513. That means there's 513,000 worth of real estate right now, but the median home price is 415,000.
Right. So the listing price is 500, but the actual closing price currently is at 415
nationwide. That's
right.
That's not California specific.
Correct.
So do you want to talk a little bit about this other graph? We're going to show this graph up on the screen here, and Candace is going to kind of explain what we're looking at in regards to this graph.
Yeah, the nice thing about this graph that you're seeing right now is it's going to start back in 2018, and what you will see is it goes up and down, up and down. That's the way real estate always works, right? Like whether you're talking about weight loss or you're talking about, you know, stock markets, whatever it is, nothing is a straight line. And that's what you're going to see on here. There's no straight line. It's up and down. And in 2018, we've seen it climb up and then it dipped back down in December, which is what we saw this last year too. And then in 2019, same thing. And then the craziest thing to think about is in 2020, when we had COVID, and 2021, when we had the fallout from that, you'll still see it climbed, that those prices are still climbing up there, and we're seeing a repetitive motion, but it's always in an upward direction. So, and as you get closer to the right-hand side of this graph, you'll actually see from 2022 to 2023, what actually happened this last year as prices again rose, and they rose really, really fast in the beginning, right? And then they slowly made their way back down to where we're at now, which is where that last little line is. And the rest of that graph is going to be the prediction of what's happening for 2024 as we're reaching into January 2024, which again, it's just going to be that repetitive motion again. We're going to see prices dip, which is what we just seen. We saw a lot of price reductions in December, and now we're starting to see homes come back on the market and people are starting to price them accurately. So we're going to see that upward tick again. So what does that mean for our clients, whether they're buyers or sellers? Well, if they're a buyer, they want to buy now before those prices go up, because, you know, every single one of these on here, you can look all the way back to 2018 till now, you'll see that in the middle of them every single time, July is usually the most expensive month to buy. So if you want to buy before July. And then if you want to sell, obviously selling towards July is going to be your best bet to get the biggest bang for your buck.
And what's the best advice for a buyer right now?
The best advice for a buyer is get your pre-approval in place. Make sure that you're talking with your realtor and that everything is lined up for you so that you can get into your home before July.
And if you want to understand that process a little bit more, we have a video for you.
Go back and watch it.
Yeah, I'll put the link up there for you as well. Just click on it and it'll go to the next video. So then, Candace, that brings me to what's your advice for a seller right now?
So my advice for a seller right now is definitely start that pre-checklist, which we will have a video coming out very soon for you guys. One of the things I recommend is getting a home inspection and getting all of those inspections done. They're going to tell you, you know, whether you need your gutters cleaned or, you know, you need to patch or repair. Maybe there's dry rot. I mean, it's typical in any home to find something, some sort of maintenance.
Nothing's perfect.
Right. So making sure that that home is cleaned up and it's in the best shape that it can be, so that when we get to list it and a buyer comes in there, there's nothing that they're going to find because you've displayed and disclosed everything that needs to be disclosed.
Yeah, fully transparent, and it makes for a smoother transaction. And of course, we will have another video regarding the pre-list listing checklist per se, and then, you know, the process on listing a home. We'll be putting, those will be coming out here over the next few weeks in our One About Real Estate. But for me, 2024 is on the up and up.
Yeah.
And it's looking really, really good. If you are not in the real estate yet, if it bought, everything to all the trends are going up.
If you're thinking about becoming a real estate agent, I'm totally here for you.
Same.
If you need help and advice, come to us now, because now is the time that if you wanted to be in the industry, because this next year is probably going to be what I would say similar to 20 and 22, where we've seen a fire in the market. Like, it was just going crazy. And the reason for that is the circumstances. And it was those really great interest rates, which we're starting to see again, and they're making that back around.
Yeah, and it's settling down now, and I think the nation is absorbing our new normal.
Right.
And so, will we ever see 2% again? I have no idea, but I know what our normal is, and we seem to be settling in.
Yeah, we're finding that common ground, and I think that that's going to just make for a really fantastic year.
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, Wine About Real Estate is here for you.
Exactly.
Candace Taylor or Allana Jones, I don't know. Yeah. Take your pick. Pick both of us. I don't know.
We're here.
We're here. We are here. And we are excited about 2024. And I just want to say cheers.
Yeah, we started this podcast in 2023, and we're bringing it full circle in 2024.
Yep.
We had, a great business run this last year. It wasn't our best year, but we survived another year.
We survived another year. That's all that matters.
And we're preparing for this next year.
And we were better for it.
Exactly.
Always learning. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy New Year, and we'll see you on our next episode on Wine About Real Estate.
Cheers.
Cheers.